I mean, super damaged Stug here. This thing needs to get repaired right away. It has no gun, no nothing. Looks like these airborne here are trying their best to cap this point while researching their recoilless rifles. It looks like they're going to get it, which is good. And this is important to note. Remember your wind conditions in this game. I always talk about remembering your wind conditions. Here we have another Panzer trying his best to get in there. Oh, and unfortunately, it looks like we have a little bit of attack. Could that be a strafing run coming through there? Yes, look at that. Okay, it did a little bit of damage here, but unfortunately now we have super duper tons of tanks coming in. And, oh, you can see that the gaps between these tank traps are just a little bit too big, and they're able to drive through them. The rest of the mines are expended, and it looks like single anti-tank on way in the back. Great positioning. He's going to get a couple of shots off before they charge him, but that's definitely too much armor for one anti-tank gun to take care of, especially finally backed by infantry. But the point that I was going to make was that it's very hard for armor to cap points. Armor just doesn't cap points. So the advantage that that paratroopers have is that they can capture anything all over the map at all times. So you need to be really mobile to counter them. And in a lot of ways, huge armor forces, while they're pretty good against infantry, they don't counter the actual game-winning effect of the paratroopers. So looks like the very last Intrepid mortar team here, firing a few rounds into the forest before getting killed by the rest of the Blitzkrieg attack here. And finally, after all this time, regaining control of the right-hand side, and even a little bit of a sneaky attack here, Stormtroopers capping the upper left-hand side. I can't help but think that this big ball of armor is just kind of wasted here in the center. I would really... You can see, oh, pretty good rocket attack going on here, though. A little bit of rocket barrage from one of the Blitzkrieg commanders. Surely going to be seeing a lot of that. But a lot of armor grouped up, and I'm not sure why it's just holding there. I think I'd... Well, I don't know. It's getting central control. Oh, God, and could it be a bombing run? Let's see, we have a bombing run. Oh, a satchel turret goes off right underneath the Panzers. And boom, boom, boom! A couple of good bombs go off. Looks like maybe you're killing the rest of them. But I think that's all she wrote for the bombing for the time being. Yep, no more bombs, but plenty of more scouts going on here. So, the name of the game is how do you recap all of these points? So, Allies thankfully still have dominant control. This middle area is not going anywhere. I would love to see this mortar team just position over here. You never know it when it fires on its own, that sort of thing. So, these guys are going to try and recap this area. You can see countering the Stormtroopers by just dropping in some paratroops. No problem over there. Paratroops landing and just going to have a nice little gunfight. Meanwhile, we see this huge armor build up. Whoa, somebody really likes Stugs. I'm very surprised that he doesn't have a Compcroft center up yet, though. If you're going to have that many Stugs, build one or two less Stugs and just start upgrading your veterancy, because Vet 3 Stugs are real tanks. They've got armor skirts and MG42s and all that fun stuff. But it looks like the Airborne are going to have no trouble capping the rest of this area, even backed up by Blackhawk, and recapping the whole map here. So, even a Sherman tank just coming on by saying, sorry guys, a little late, but, you know, can I help in any way? That's okay though, man. I'm sure they welcome the help. So it looks like engineers with Airborne, all those guys just taken off to that side of the map. Still down here in the south, second Hellhound, good control of the map, that sort of thing. And just massive armor. I want to see this armor do something. That's, you know, not quite a criticism, but just, you know, do something, because you're not winning the game just yet. But, you know, actually I suppose you are, because it is 3 capping right now. So, to some extent, I need to respect the fact that, you know, you're being useful with your armor and all that sort of stuff here. I do hear some rocket barrages going off and that sort of thing. Who knows where that was. But once again, with the sight from the Sherman tank, we're going to go ahead and paradrop just kind of wherever, picking up recoilless rifles rather than having to research them again, and hopefully capping this point and capping this point. And now we've got skilled Sherman and the Greyhound coming back in here. Oh god, okay, so now we have the ants go marching one by one. So here come all of the Stugs. Now we got to see what they're going to do here. I almost think that this is the kind of part of the game where I wouldn't mind seeing a suicide attack on a base. I know I always say don't do that, but this late in the game, we're 25 minutes in the game and you've done nothing but build Stugs, get some veterancy and push into a base and destroy stuff. However, I will immediately criticize myself for even considering that, because these are Airborne players. Airborne players, frankly, don't even care if they have a base half the time. They can just drop troops anywhere. So really, you need to destroy units and cap parts of the map. And part of the weakness we're going to see is that paratroopers can just cap so much stuff. So here we go. Oh my god, did somebody order some slaves? Look at this flank. This is a great flank. Just, you know, way to just figure out that this is the proper way to attack on this position. It does give them complete access to this area. He should be able to clear out all of these light defenses. There's a single anti-tank gun up here who's going to fire away. Probably going to get some kills and that sort of thing. But these M10 tank destroyers were made just quick work out of all that. And please, please, just keep attacking. Keep moving forward. Get up here and attack all of this sort of stuff. And we even have the stormtroopers moving on in. So lots of spy planes coming on in here. Oh my god, massive armor push. A couple of good bombing runs over here on the right, but it looks like all of the armor got the hell out of the way. Once again, armor just flooding on into this area, just kind of crushing everything in sight, taking out the Sherman tanks, and now fighting the infantry. We've got massive armor pushes on both sides. Going to keep going back and forth here, and seeing if we can't see what's going on. Looks like 2 Stugs were taken out by just this one anti-tank gun. Nope, just kidding here. That was 1 Stug at the very least, but getting killed by other means. Now opening fire on the rest of these Stugs. Stugs have now been upgraded to Vet 2. They've got MG42s. This armor up here is just completely obliterating all of these forces, but once again, note, armor cannot cap these points. You need something other than armor. You need infantry. Thankfully, we do have a whole lot of Pioneers heading up there, but that's always the... Whoa, completely blown up right there. It looks like a parting recoilless rifle shot took out a very wounded Stug, and not quite sure why these Stugs are retreating away. I think this is kind of a blunder here. These Stugs should just turn around. I mean, yeah, you're going to probably take some damage, but at least retreat with your very wounded tanks. Well, I guess you've got 2 very wounded tanks, but these 2 tanks, because they've easily turned around, supporting fire, met up with these contracted Pioneers, tried to get something going there. But I think retreating with all those guys, no good, because you'll note, once again, that tanks do not cap territory, and as a result, even after having taken out this whole area, nothing is gained by it. No strategic advantage was gained. It was simply a loss of units that attack provided. So here we have now, it looks like the Pioneers finally recapping this area, trying their best to secure this place once again. We do have a bunch of stormtroopers now moving on up, and the mortar team is kind of repositioned to a more centralized location. I'm okay with that. And once again, huge armor here in the center. It's just kind of getting picked off here by these M10s. M10s and a combination of anti-tank gun up here on the cliff. Boom! Takes out the last of that Panzer. Looks like we have another anti-tank gun here, and we have the rest of the Panzer up here. So really all of this armor here has just been kind of scoured. You can see just kind of burned out Panzers all over the place. Looks like the M10 just trying his best to get out of the way. Oh my god, M10, there's no safe place for you anywhere around here, sir. This guy needs to rotate. This M10 needs to keep spinning around this anti-tank gun. But luckily they are being backed up here by a bunch of airborne and their own anti-tank gun, who's now moving up, and oh, unfortunately getting a little bit too close here. How did that anti-tank gun make it across the field to fire at this machine gun? Look at all these guys firing up to get out of there. Okay, so one M10 goes down, still firing shots at the Panzer, and now the pack is going to be opening fire on the tank destroyer, who really needs to get out of there. Tank destroyer, no! Oh, you're bumping into walls and stuff. Look out, buddy. Is he going to die? Is he going to die? Oh, main gun destroyed. No, get him out of there. Oh, well. But massive infantry. It doesn't matter if he loses that tank, really. Because this pack really has no place to go at this point. And could that be a strafing run even? That's a little weird. Big old strafing run. And is that a det pack? Wow. Look out for that. All right. That'll take out the rest of that. This, for the meantime, being kind of pulled back, but it looks like a single out-of-control, very damaged M10 there getting wrecked. And, oh, just a big pile of recoilless rifles onto the rest of this Panzer here. And fresh Panzer coming on in for the kill, but a little bit uncoordinated. Just kind of charging on in by himself. And going to be having some trouble with all. Just completely surrounded. Needs to get the hell on out of there. Needs something. Reactive artillery, anything in this area. Need to kind of combine your forces with your friends. So it looks like we have a couple of these guys up here, but out of control tank. Just a total massacre here in the center. So just be aware of your paratroops, man. Armor is not always very good against them. So here we go. Whole bunch of contracted Pioneers trying their best to build a Flak 88. Looks like the durable Sherman is going to start putting some pressure on this thing. Looks like it has been manned. Will it whip around and try and fire at any of this sort of stuff? Looks like it's just getting set up here. Here's the third guy jumping on board. Meanwhile, we have all of our Vet 3 Stugs. Thank you, sir, for getting Vet 3 Stugs. Point blank shot from the 88, taking all that stuff out. Meanwhile, the rest of the Stugs now pushing on out. Looks like he just has his one last wounded one here, and thankfully he has started researching all of that stuff. Oh my lord! massive, massive push of armor here. So let's take a look at the map right now. I'm just going to swap my point of view over to M. Jason. And let's just take a look and see what we got here. Massive armor here on the right, massive armor on the left, and a little bit of armor kind of here in the middle here. But not a lot of troops. Single Austrian back here trying to protect, and just a gaggle of, just a whole bunch of pioneers and that sort of thing on the right-hand side. Tons of pioneers, actually. But they can't cap anything. And you'll notice, once again, we've got frickin' paratroopers back here. I'm going to jump back to Smear so we have the same view as we had last time. Capping these points, capping these points. Look at the score. It's 352 to 71. The Axis right now controls 0 points. Look at this. Cap in the center, controlling 0 points. Doesn't matter how much armor they have or how effective this armor is. They're just taking so many losses here to little, like, incidental shots from stupid, annoying paratroopers and that sort of thing. But paratroopers totally owning the map. This is a 5 cap right now, and with very little tactical control of the map. Just kind of, you know, random clods of infantry just kind of fighting to their deaths here and there. And just putting some real damage on these panzers. These panzers just take forever to kill paratroopers, and paratroopers have infinite mobility. This is pure mobility of fighting. Okay, good. So we're going to have to retreat here. It doesn't matter. Finally getting pushed on out. Big ball of pioneers backed by an Austrian, capping this 1 point here, trying their desperate best to cap this point. But once again, there's nobody here who can do it. We have some stormtroopers moving in. Stormtroopers trying to cap this point as quickly as they can. 9 points left. Oh my god! And look at how big the armor is around here. It's just tons of armor everywhere. Tons of armor up here, fighting away, doing damage. We've got bunkers, and the game is over. It doesn't matter. So paratroopers, mobility and warfare versus big heavy tanks, paratrooper victory. So 4 versus 4, all paratrooper army. I really enjoyed this replay. Special thanks to Smee Air for taking care of that and submitting this replay. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later.